I hope you're having a wonderful day. I wanted to make a short video because I wanted to show you the books that I got from the library. This is the first time that I've checked out a book since I was in school, and so this is pretty big for me. I finally decided to get a library card because buying books was getting expensive, and there are certain books that I bought that I regretted buying because I just don't see myself reading them again. And also where I'm at, it's difficult to get certain books by certain authors because most books come from outside of the country. It just takes a lot to ship them here. And so I decided to get this membership at a nearby library, and I'm really glad that I did because I'm really enjoying all three of these books. But I hope that you have a cup of tea and a snack. The tea that I've been liking is a sleepy infusion, but it doesn't make me sleepy. I just like it because it doesn't have caffeine. It's got chamomile, cinnamon, and lemon balm. And the snack of my choice is ma'moul, which is like a biscuit, but inside it is dates. Now I'm gonna talk about the books. So it's gonna be a pretty short video, I think, unless I talk about them for too long. I'd also really like to know what you've been reading and if you're enjoying it. All three of these books I got because I've been watching a lot of videos by a YouTuber called Melissa, and I believe her Instagram handle is The Post Office Girl. Melissa reads books that are very different from the books that I've picked up, but every book that I've picked up because of her, I ended up liking. And so the first book is Catalan Street by Magda Szabo. This book is by a Hungarian writer, and so it's a translated work of fiction. I'm gonna be honest, the first two chapters, which weren't that long, honestly, like 15 pages each, but they really confused me. I was confused by the amount of characters that were being mentioned, the names that I couldn't keep up with, and just their ages as well. I couldn't tell if they were really old or really young, and it was definitely an experience, but I wouldn't say that it was a bad one because the writing was beautiful. So even though I couldn't really tell what was going on, I liked that those parts of the book were revealed to me slowly in the way that they were. Without revealing too much, this story follows a friend group. So two sisters, one boy and one girl. And it's set in Budapest, and you basically see how war has affected the lives of this friend group. I'm currently about 100 pages in, and the writing is beautiful, and I'm already really attached to these characters. I'm not even halfway through the book, but I'm sad that there's an ending to this book and to the story of this friend group because already they feel so real to me. And that's something that I really search for in books, characters that I can connect to and just feel like they're human. And I feel like these are characters that won't leave me long after I finish this book. And another personal reason why I think I like this book is because the trajectory of my life was changed by a war. And though I don't exactly relate to the situations that some of these characters are in, I know what it's like for your life to change by something such as war. The next book is Spring Torrance. And this is an author that my dad likes, but I've never read any of his books. This is the first work that I've picked up by him, but I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm also about 100 pages in. I'm using my library card as a bookmark. But essentially, this story starts off with a 50-year-old man, and he's bitter and discontent with his life. And he sees or he finds something, and it seems like that item has brought back painful memories. And so then the story starts, and you're transported 30 years in the past to when the man was a 23-year-old man, and he falls madly in love with this woman, and that changes his entire life. And based off of how the main character was feeling at the start of the book, I assume that the love story has a tragic end, but I'm not that far into it to see where it's going. So far, I'm really liking how in love the main character is. And although I don't typically read romance, I feel like I'm liking this one. This book is semi-autobiographical, and I find that really interesting because another book that's sort of similar to this that I also really liked was one that I read last year, and it's called Of Human Bondage by Moam. And that book is also semi-autobiographical. And a big part of that story is the main character falling in love with this woman and them not being destined for each other. And so I keep comparing the two works just because I find it very interesting that they're both semi-autobiographical and both of them are lamenting over a lost love. The last book that I got is a short story collection because I felt like it would be a good companion for these two. And it's Will You Please Be Quiet Please by Raymond Carver. And I'm gonna be honest, I got it because of the title. I never read any of this author's short stories, but I found this title pretty funny. The short story that I really want to read by him is Cathedral, but this one was the one that I could find, and so I picked it up. I read a few of the short stories and I really liked them. They're quite mundane, but all of the characters are twisted but in a believable way. And I like how many of the stories are unsettling, but not in an overt way. It's in a way in which I can relate to these characters, even the ones that aren't very good people. So these are the 3 books that I'm currently obsessed with. What am I reading? And that make me very grateful that I've decided to get this library membership. A big positive to getting this library card is that I'll be exposed to authors that I otherwise wouldn't have exposed myself to, and I'll be more willing to try something that doesn't really align with the books that I've liked in the past, because at the end of the day, if I really don't like it, I can just return it and give it back. And so that will also just make it more likely for me to pick books at random, and you never know what jewels you might find. And so I hope that you're having a wonderful day, and thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you soon.